all protocol observed. I'm Speaker Jolene Wolmerans of the Garden Route District Municipality. My job this morning is very easy. The official welcome will be done by the next speaker. I just want everybody to take a chair, relax. Thank you very much. So without any further delays or with any further ado, I would now call on Elder Lady Ndai. Unfortunately can't be with us. She's got a very important meeting this morning, a council meeting. So I will call on Councillor Kobus Meyren to come and do the official opening and the welcoming for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. I think I'm just going to stand a bit closer, if you don't mind. I don't really know where to start. There are so many dignitaries here. So from the word go, I just want to say all protocols are observed and welcome to everybody. Speaker, I know that you come from Knysna and nobody appreciates a fully functional fire station like this one more than somebody coming from Knysna. And I think I want to know, in many ways, this feels like a bit of a reunion. I see many people here that work with, along with the Garden Route people and the fire department from all the cities, all the towns at least, in 2017. And what a tremendous effort and what capabilities and skills and equipment we have. It's remarkable. This facility, I think, is world class. Somebody told me that it's only the second one in the country that's been purpose built, which means that from the word go, it was the layout and everything was taken in consideration, and I think the consulting engineers will be talking a bit later on in the program will embroider on that. So I see Minister Bedell is here, very welcome. As you all know, the fires are raging in the Overstrand at Pringle Bay and Betty's Bay, and I don't know whether the request for disaster has already been accepted, but I think we know the scale of what is happening there. And we've got people from Garden Route, and a lot of our equipment is also being deployed right there. So from my side, I would just like to start from the top and welcome the Minister of Local Government Development and Planning, Minister Anton Bedell, very welcome, and then our own Executive Mayor, Mr. Memory Poison, who is here today, and our Deputy Mayor, Kat, welcome. All the mayors from the municipalities who I don't all see where they are, welcome. Our fire chiefs, all the people from the municipalities, welcome, and then a special word of welcome to our staff. You look world class. It's unbelievable to stand here and look at you, and I want you to give you also a warm round of applause. Thank you. I think I want to now ask Pastor Keith Elliott from the Victory Church just to open with a word of prayer for us. Pastor, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I'm dressed this morning in a way that my wife is jealous of you, because even when we go on a date, I don't dress like this. But I think the occasion calls for it. And as the one who introduced said, you guys look fantastic. A bride, she would love a sunny day, but I suppose a firefighter, it's apt that it's a cloudy day. Less opportunity to be called out in those days. Huh? So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this morning a message and a prayer with you. The request was, would you share a message and would you bless us? And something that is important, as I've come to know many of the firefighters, you guys take your job very seriously. And credit to that is the teams that work hard for all the toughest firefighter live competitions. That's something of a call to excellence. There's a difference between a job and a calling. And some of you, I applaud you in your pursuits and your endeavors to not just occupy space, but to really add value. So for me, the same is that when you come in as a minister of the gospel, you're wanting to empower those and take seriously the request. So with that, Deuteronomy 9, 3-6 just tells a story, and then I color it in for you. But recognize today that the Lord your God is the one who will cross over ahead of you like a devouring fire to destroy them. So in this picture, they are advancing as a people Israel, and they are going to conquer a nation. And he says, I will subdue them so that you will quickly conquer them and drive them out, just as the Lord has promised. After the Lord your God has done this for you, don't say in your hearts, the Lord has given us this land because we are such a good people. No, it is because of the wickedness of the other nations that he is pushing them out of your way. It is not because you are so good or have such integrity that you're about to occupy their land. The Lord your God will drive these nations out ahead of you only because of their wickedness, and to fulfill the oath he swore to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You must recognize that the Lord your God is not giving you this good land because you are so good, for you are not. You're a stubborn people. So I promise you that this is a positive message. It sounds a little bit grumpy, but there's something that in our human nature, we love to applaud ourselves. And what we notice in the design of God is that when our enjoyment of him is most, there is order and there is a peace that comes upon a people. So for me to be able to bless you this morning, I wanted to leave you some of the attributes that are important for the blessing of this God to be upon us. Is first that he talks about when he gives us something, that we would be able to be grateful to him. And I want to honor all of those. The fire chief sent me through some of the journey and the history of how we've got to this point. Spaces to occupy, having to ask, beg, borrow, rent. And there's been those faithful men and women that have worked behind the scenes to get to this day. I want to honor each and every one of you. And well done to your faithful service as you've laid down your life for others. It's cost you time, it's cost money. You've been generous. And I really pray that God would bless you in your endeavors moving forward. There's something that when we look at a building like this, it is an incredible, incredible achievement. All the floors are swept clean. I had a workshop for 20 years, and there's nothing quite like having a new floor laid, and then the first person that comes in with a Land Rover to leave an oil stain on it. This is important, that a house swept clean is not what makes it a home. It's the bodies that fill it. And so as you've reached this milestone, I set the next one before you, which is there are 3 attributes I believe you would need to be able to enjoy this space, that as I pray a blessing over you, as the brave men and women that fight the fires here and as I hear towards Cape Town, is that you remember these 3 things: humility, service, and love. James 4:6 reads, and he gives grace graciously, as the scriptures say. God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Oftentimes, when we ask God for help, we think that he's deaf, but he is God, which means when we approach him humbly. The scriptures also say that he does not resist the brokenhearted and the contrite, only those that are prideful. So as you journey and as you enjoy this, to counter pride, there's gratitude. Walk in gratitude and gratefulness for those that have laid their lives down so that you might enjoy this next phase. Service. Each one, I trust and believe that you've put on the badge, that you've put on these suits to go out to serve, to lay your life down. The King that I serve, King Jesus, modeled this himself. Mark 10:42-45. So Jesus called them together and said, you know that the rulers in this world lord it over their people, and officials flaunt their authority over those under them. But among you, it will be different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first among you must be the slave of everyone else. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Just to clarify, he's not talking about any of the officials sitting here. Okay, I made sure I checked with him. Everyone sitting here that's an official here is laying down their life selflessly to serve those around him. And you know, there's something about a good God is that even if you think this morning, I haven't really been that selfless, he says, confess your sins, repent, he will give you what you need for the next phase. Love. That would be the last one. John 15:30. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friend. So in this service to him that I serve you, in the blessing to walk in, to come, it reads in Psalm 84:11. For the Lord God is our sun and our shield. He gives us grace and glory. The Lord will withhold no good thing. To this fire department, it's men and it's women, for those who do what is right. Proverbs 8:13 encourages us, upholds us, strengthens us, and says this: all who fear the Lord will hate evil. Therefore, I hate pride and arrogance, corruption, and perverse speech. So as you serve one another in the communities, I want to pray a blessing over you, that Father, as these men and women align their hearts to do good, as they get dressed in the morning, Father, each one has got a family that they love, that's in need. I would ask, by your grace, your kindness, and your mercy, would you meet the needs of the family? Would you meet the needs of the men and the women that are sitting here, that have challenges personally, physically? Would you heal them? Would you restore them? Would you bless them as they endeavor to do the work set before them? May they experience a peace in this building which surpasses all understanding. That even if things are difficult at home, when they walk through this building, they breathe almost like fresh air as your presence meets them to empower them to tackle this day that lies ahead. We pray for those that are in Cape Town that are struggling with the fight of the fire. Would you grant them favor with the weather? Would you grant them the truth, the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding as they apply their skills at hand? I pray that in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Thank you very much for that, Pastor Elliot. The next person that's going to come to the front, all of you who know me by now, I don't make a secret of it. He's one of my favorite firemen. I will call on Mr. Emil Conrad. He's not only a good firefighter, but he can also play the saxophone, I think, then better than anybody else that I know. Thank you, Emil. I think we must all stand, please, because he is going to perform the national anthem for us. Thank you. Thank you very much, Emil. It is always very, very nice and a blessing to listen to when he is performing. So now next up on our agenda, we will have a background and a road to this auspicious day. The municipal manager of the Garden Route, Mr. Mondestrado, will come and tell us when it happened, what happened, and how it came about that we can all today be here to open this fire station officially. Give him a round of applause, please. A round of applause. Thank you, MM.
Thank you, Program Director and Madam Speaker. Thank you very much. Good morning to the Minister of Local Government, Minister Bradel, the Executive Mayor of the Garden Route District Municipality, Alderman Memoriboisen, the Deputy Executive Mayor, Alderman Advocate Van Niekerk, the executive mayors present here from the various local municipalities, the deputy executive mayors present here, the councillors in your respective positions, whips, chief whips, aldermen, alder ladies, the colleagues from the various administrations, including their fire chiefs that are present here, the various colleagues from the provincial government, and the colleagues from our partners, the stakeholders that we work with in the environment of firefighting, working on fire, and all other colleagues, the pastor, who just gave us the wonderful word of God, the colleagues that were responsible for this wonderful piece of work, the contractor, Kubeka, and the colleagues from the consulting engineers, Kant and Temper, our media colleagues that are always assisting us to inform the public about what we do, and all colleagues that have joined us. And last but not least, to my wonderful wife, who I insisted today must join us today. You are all welcome to this auspicious day. You have been welcomed. My duty is to narrate the journey to this day in terms of where we came from. The pastor did make a short reference to some detail that has been provided by the fire chief, detailing where we actually came from, mentioning times when we used to work under tents on the road, where we used to rent all over, and but very determined that at one stage we will have our own place to call home. I joined this organization in 2017, and all of us know that was the year of the great Neisner fires. So literally for many of us, it was a baptism of fire. And at the time, I was still commuting between Plettenberg Bay and George. So you can imagine that I had to go past the blazes, and we had to converge in various joint operating centers, and here at Garden Route, in Neisner and in Platt, trying to put out the fires. At the time we came, we had occupied this building here in the industrial area, where I found my colleagues renting that space, which we have now vacated. So for many years, since the establishment of this municipality, we have not had our own space to call home for our firefighters. It is therefore for the first time that we have this building that belongs and is an asset of Garden Route District Municipality that is built to accommodate our firefighters. We began to have discussions during that year, having regard to the devastation that we had seen, having regard to the capacity assessments that we did regarding our response times, our accommodation, our vehicles and everything. It became clear that we needed to come up with a very specific and deliberate effort to ensure that our colleagues, the firefighters, the heroes of all these fire incidents, can feel appreciated, can feel well accommodated, and that this municipality can invest in its own assets in terms of having its own property that they would have. If anyone cares to know the challenges faced with or by this municipality and any other district municipality, will know it is not easy to budget for capital assets that are quite huge or big. We therefore had to, over the years, negotiate and convince and request the political leadership to consider properly availing resources for this kind of a facility. Initially, we had planned that this facility would be best suited if we put it on the western side of the district. That was informed by the reality that actually most of our big fires do come from the western side of Hesekwa, and we as an institution that has authority to deal with field fires needed to have proper capacity to respond from that direction. But because of the experience we had of the 2017 fires in Naisna and the devastation that was visited on this region, we then had to consider that it is no longer a given that the most devastating fires or the most frequent will come from that side. But we needed to be located in a strategic area that will be easy to respond. We therefore had to look at the possibilities of putting this facility in Mossel Bay or George, whichever was going to give us the most benefit. We were very keen, and we had moved and signed some understanding with the municipality of Mossel Bay that we were going to build it there. And it was going to be put in one of our properties there. However, we became very lucky that George Municipality availed this piece of land to us and said, having regard to everything you have said and all the assessments you have done, we think it's important that you have your property or your fire station here in George, and we continue building capacity in the various localities. And we will give you this piece of land for free. And therefore, with that, we had to go back and relook at our plans and consult with the firefighters and everybody. Look at the implications of moving to Mossel Bay, having to uproot families and everything to a different location and say, what is the best solution at the moment? And we all agreed that because this is but one phase in a long rollout of capital investment in infrastructure for fire services, we can start in George. And all of us then agreed that we will take this opportunity and build this facility here. We then had to do the actual planning in terms of putting out building plans, what was the vision, and the colleagues where everybody had all their dreams and everything that they thought would be proper. But the limiting factor was always going to be the budget. And we had then to engage our leaders to say, please, for a change, we request that this municipality invest in a substantial way, substantial way in our context, in a capital infrastructure building like this. And the council agreed that they will provide about 8 million for this project to be done. We then looked at what we wanted to deliver and what we has availed And it became clear that we were not going to have what we had anticipated from that budget. And all of us then had to go to the provincial government and request Minister Bradell to assist us in ensuring that at least we delivered a decent building for our community. And we are very grateful, Minister, that the Department of Local Government and Planning did provide an additional 3 million to that 8 million to have a budget of 11 million to deliver this facility. We then had to really relook at the specification and everything and say we must deliver something that we will all be proud of from this 11 million, but allow us an opportunity to even grow on this side and on other sides should resources become available. And therefore it came to pass that we went through the normal processes, supply chain calling for tenders, firstly for the consulting engineers, and as we say today, we're grateful to Kanti and Tempa for the wonderful work that they have done to deliver this facility. We then had to go out again and call for proposals or tenders for the construction of the facility, and we're grateful today that Kubeka has proven to be the professional entity that has delivered this facility. It has been a wonderful experience for all of us, firefighters, officials, councillors, everybody, to say we want to work together to deliver this for the people of the Garden Route, for all the municipalities that would benefit from this facility, and for us to assist in our provincial colleagues as we do today in the district municipality where Pringle Bay and others are over back. We are there, our officials are there now, we were requested to assist. We were happy that we were able to work within the budget, within the timelines, and our initial plan was to be having this auspicious occasion last year in December. But because all of us knew last year towards the end, we had a lot of rain and disruptions and weather conditions. We then had to move it further and further. And the next anticipation that we're supposed to be here last month, which is January. But when I visited the contractor, because I think he's a gentleman who is very proud of his work, he kept on requesting that, please, give me a chance to finish the small things that I think will make a difference to this building. And we then agreed to be here today. So that is basically the journey, the background to this facility. There are many colleagues that have had a wonderful contribution to this. It's a sad day that we converge today, and one of the key pioneers of this facility and one of the leaders in the sector is not able to join us. The fire chief that departed, Mr. Thaver, was very fond and very passionate about this project. It's one of his pet projects. If you remember, guys, when we started, it was his thing that he wanted to deliver this. And I would like to request Program Director, with your permission, that maybe we rise and just observe a moment of silence in remembrance of Fire Chief Thaver, who has since passed on. Thank you. With this, we honor the many fire chiefs, firefighters, those who perished during the fires in Neisner in 2017. You all remember we had to go to the funerals in Plettenberg Bay when the former president was also here. We remember them when we do these things. The other official who was very proud of this project, who has become ill-disposed, and we are very sad that he is not here, is Mr. Clive Africa. Mr. Clive Africa has been the head of department for community services for a long time. And this is one of the projects that he was very proud of. And I'm sure wherever he is a proud man that eventually this has become a reality. Mr. Clive Africa, unfortunately, is not well, Minister. He has been unwell for a very long time, and it doesn't look like he will be back with us in the workplace. We are working with him and family to make sure that he's in a good space. He would have been one of the people sitting here, and I know he would have cried because he is a very emotional man. He's very fond of his work, was very passionate about this, and wanted it to be a wonderful success. And I would like, in remembrance of his contribution, that we just give him a round of applause. Madam Speaker, I would like to take my hat off to the political leadership of this municipality for having had the vision to see the need and to invest in the need for this region to have this type of a facility. It is not easy to be a politician. You have so many competing interests. There are many people that want to be served, and you have to prioritize in terms of what at the crucial moment you believe is correct. Insight will always teach you otherwise, but it is best that you make the decision. And we're grateful to the political leadership. Mr. Mayor, this is your legacy. It will remain here for posterity to cherish, to use, and to recall that when there were councillors at Garden Route that were under your leadership, this is what you left behind. Minister Bradell, your contribution will forever be here in this facility. You will be recalled as one of the ministers that during your time you saw it fit that the provincial government must contribute to the success of this facility so that the people of this region can benefit. We have become an accredited training institution for fire services, and we are going to use these facilities to ensure that we contribute to that. We have bigger plans. We're looking at training academies to train firefighters, and this is one step in a proper direction. There are many men and women that I would spend the whole day thanking and mentioning that have made this a success. I would like to thank them and to thank everyone in no particular order. And if I have not mentioned your name, it is not because your contribution is not recognized. It is because we know we are all constrained by time. But I want to thank everyone and to thank my family. My wife is here, I have said, for the support that they have given me in leading this institution under difficult circumstances to ensure that we do have days like this. It is not always wonderful and nice to be in the public service. And when we have days like this, I think it is only fitting that all of us, we rejoice at what we have achieved. We rejoice at what the collective can do to take the lessons, to take the district forward, to build the camaraderie among the firefighters, among the officials, the professionals, the colleagues, the public and the private sector, the NGOs, the partners that work with us. We'll be accommodating some of our partners in this facility because it is not only for the government, but we have very serious partners like Working on Fire and others that help us to fight these fires. And we have this, and when we have facilities like this, it's only proper that we avail the space to them from which to respond. Madam Speaker, that is, in conclusion, what I wanted to say. Please enjoy the day. It is a wonderful day. Do not look so grumpy. Relax. It's a joyous day and enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emin, for that comprehensive briefing on how we got here. Ek wil ook net gou vir Eden FM se luisteraars baie welkom sê. Die program van vandag word rechtstreeks op Eden FM uitgesaai. So all the Eden FM listeners, the slogan is Your Choice in Paradise. Baie welkom. Volgende op ons program gaan wees, hy gaan vir ons 'n oorsig gee about the Western Cape Fire Services Capacity Grants, the financial assistance. And it's going to be the Disaster Management, Fire and Rescue Services Sub-Directorate. I must just get the titles correct. Fire and Rescue Services. And that is the Deputy Director, Mr. Etienne de Toy.
Okay, Mr. de Toy.
Thank you, Program Director. I acknowledge all present, all protocol observed. Program Director, I'm also a firefighter by profession. You've indicated that you have your favorites, but yes, just need to place that on record.
Okay.
I was asked to speak about the Fire Services Capacity Building Grant, which is one of the initiatives of the Western Cape Government, which was initiated by Minister Burdell in his office. And that is a project that basically commenced in 2015. There was a need analysis done in fire services, amongst fire services in the Western Cape, and we identified certain gaps. And most of those gaps revolved around infrastructure and equipment and skills. A facility like this, it's an awesome facility. And myself being a firefighter, it's almost a surreal moment for me to be asked to speak at the opening of a fire station. But in saying that, a facility like this, it needs equipment and it needs trained people to man it. And that's where the capacity building grant seeks to address those gaps. Thank you. As I've indicated, it started in 2015, and thus far since we started with the project, we've delivered well over 70 fire engines, or we assisted municipalities in acquiring over 70 fire engines throughout the province. We also assisted with the building with this facility, and we also assisted 3 district municipalities in establishing a radio network within their districts. So that's part of what we do. So the grant is open for any capacity building initiative for fire services. We also assisted Mossel Bay recently in acquiring a boat, which is the first for fire services of that size, a semi-rigid inflatable, which can be used for rescue purposes, firefighting, offshore firefighting, getting firefighters onto ships and that type of thing. So that is part of what we do. We also assist greatly with training. We've got several initiatives which benefit all fire services. And I'm proud to say that 29 municipalities in the Western Cape have been beneficiaries of the grant. We're currently in process of building capacity to respond to hazardous material incidents along all the major routes, the N1 and the N2, and which is basically a district function. So we have, over a 3-year period, we are assisting district municipalities with a grant of 1.5 million over 3 years for the specific purpose of building capacity to respond to the hazardous material incidents. We are also assisting the Garden Route Municipality in terms of flood response. We are availing an amount of 7.5 million over a 3-year period for flood response. That is to deal with the aftermath of floods and rescues and rehabilitation and the likes. So that is part of what we really do and what we envisage to do. I think what is important for us as well is the partnership. The fact, and this is a partnership, a reality. The ground was supplied by one municipality. The building or the infrastructure was developed by a second, and it was supported by a provincial government. So I think that is our ideal model, where all 2 or 3 tiers of government, local and provincial, work together, and we have a project like this to showcase. So it's a proud moment for all of us. Some of the vehicles that we see here behind us is part of what we delivered as part of the capacity building grant. So I'm also specifically proud to mention that. This is a province that faces severe fire risks. And we are currently seeing the aftermath of some of the fires. But also the informal settlements that we have in the province, it's also for us a big concern. and we have large fatalities or unnecessary fatalities in those areas. So we've also embarked on projects where we assist with the provision of smoke alarms and smoke detectors. Thus far, we've installed more than, with partners like the municipalities, we've installed close to 15,000 smoke alarms in informal settlements. And some of the feedback that we get, it has saved lives. So once one life saved is one life saved. We're also providing the municipality, the district municipality, with a grant of 500,000 rand to acquire specifically those devices and assist the B municipalities within their respective areas to also install smoke detectors in the informal settlements and the high-risk areas. So yes, from my side, it was, as I've indicated, it was an absolute privilege for me to have been involved in this project, albeit only as a project manager from the provincial government side. But as I said, I'm a firefighter, so that gives me a lot of pride to say that I was involved in this. So for me also, it means a lot. And for me, I also regard it as a legacy. And yes, it was an absolute honor, and I need to congratulate everybody that was involved in this project and up to today, from the inception right up to delivery. It's a project that we so often see projects that do not come to fruition due to management issues, financial issues, project management issues. But this is a showcase of what can be done. So thank you for listening to me, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Baie dankie, Mr. Etienne de Tooy. Next up will be Mr. Nelis Achenbach, and he's going to inform us about the success of the implementation of the project. He's from the engineering consultants, Kenti and Templer. You are not a firefighter, sir?
No, I'm
not.
not.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarity.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Madam Speaker. Thanks for the opportunity. Yes, maybe I can just give a bit of practical background. You know, we look at the more practical side of it, and getting a facility like this actually on the ground. The project commencement started in October of 2021. And shortly after this, that's when all the planning started. Most of 2022 was taken up by the design, the drafting, and the approval process and the procurement for this facility. As was mentioned previously, George Municipality provided the urban. The facility is actually constructed on 2 urban, and it went through a consolidation process. And that is where you see the facility constructed on at the moment. The buildings consist of concrete, brickwork, as you can see, timber trusses, and structural steelwork for the apparatus bay. It consists basically of 2 parts, of which the first part is the building as you see it here, and at the back, of course, is the ground crew building. On my right-hand side, you've got the admin building with accommodation facilities for the firefighters, the guys that work shifts at night. And then, of course, you've got the apparatus bay, of which you've got the 4 vehicle bays at the back here. It's maybe worth mentioning that during the design process, what we took into account, of course, the requirements from Garden Route District Municipality, and I think the facility actually, the original desire was for it maybe to be slightly larger, and for that purpose, during the planning, in consultation with Garden Route District Municipality, we have allowed on the side here actually there's space enough for an additional 2 bays that could be constructed in future. That's just a bit of background on the project. When one looks at a facility like this, everyone's, as you're sitting there's nice paving, there's a building. I think everything looks very, very great. But when we came here, just to, from our point of view, as I say, the practical side of it, if you look towards the N2 side, that's how this site looked. It's basically felt when we came in. It's bush. Where that bucky is standing was 3, 4, about 5 meter high wattle trees, you know, and then to get a facility like this in here, looking like this. It takes a lot of hard work, and we can really thank everyone that was involved in this. We moved on to construction. That's always the final stage of a project like this. And on 1 February 2023, which is yesterday, exactly a year ago, we had a site handover meeting on the site. And the original completion date, as was mentioned, was 13 December of last year, 2023. And the revised completion date was the 30th of January this year, which is Tuesday this week. The reason for moving it out was mostly rain orientated. We had, I don't know if you remember, last year, the first 6 months of last year, we had extreme amount of rainfall in the area, which is always good for farmers, but for construction people, it's never ideal for us. We like the drier rain so that the contractor can get on with his work. But with the necessary effort, we are standing here today with this facility completed in a proper time. Just further background, the buildings are about 700 square meters of building space that has been added. And of course, then also all the parking areas, the driveways, everything that you see here. I was asked to say or to speak about the success of the implementation of a project like this. And I think there's three, with a project like this, there's always three elements that must be present. The one is, of course, you must get a suitable contractor. And I think that we found in Quebeca Construction, which built this facility. The second one is, of course, they implement the designs from all sorts of parties. And that is basically the consulting team. That's the second part that you always need to a project like this. Of course, the consulting team, we represent them as the principal agent, Canty and Templar, but it consists of many role players. I mean, there's architectural input, structural civil engineering, electrical, mechanical engineering, there's safety personnel, and all sorts, financial people, quantity surveyors. So there's a whole team that goes into this to make it a success. Sorry. Then the last one, but definitely not the least, is of course the client. And you always need the buying of the client. And everyone from Garden Route District Municipality, we can really say that we want to thank you for what the support that you've given the design team first, and then also the construction team. I think it all goes into creating a facility like this if one can work together. I just want to maybe, if you allow me, one doesn't really want to left out anyone specifically in a meeting like this. But again, as I say, we deal sort of with the practical day-to-day side of a facility like this, and I really want to thank Dion Stoffels for his involvement in this project. He had to come onto the project early on as a representative from Garden Route District Municipality, and as you know, he's a firefighter and not a construction manager or anything. And I think it was a steep learning curve for him also, and I hope it was a good experience for Dion. We had many meetings and many discussions, and yeah, I think we worked together very well. And I think the positive for us was the transfer of the heart of a fireman. You guys, that's sitting on the right-hand side there. I think you represented it, you guys, and we found that always to be good. So if I can say in conclusion, what the success of the implementation of a project like this is, I would have to say it's teamwork. Everyone that's involved, every party brought its side to the table, and if it isn't for teamwork, I think a project like this can't come to fruition. And we want to say, I think it's probably going to go forward, the firefighters into your team, all of the best and luck to Garden Route District Municipality and the firefighters for your endeavors in the future, and enjoy the building. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Achenbach, can I just ask the speakers that you must please bring the mic closer to your mouth, because apparently the sound is fading away when you are speaking. Next up, we will have the Deputy Mayor of the George Municipality. I see that Alderman Leon van Wyk is not with us, but the Deputy Mayor Rayben Vigeland is here. So you will come and grace us with his presence. Give him a round of applause, please, as he comes up to the podium. Welcome, Deputy.
Thank you, Program Director. Let me declare that I'm not a firefighter, first of all. And allow me to apologize for the absence of Alderman Leon van Wyk. But I'm here and I'm standing in. It's a joyous occasion, so please, we're not at a funeral. That will happen when it will happen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Minister Anton Bredel, Executive Mayor Alderman Memory Boysen, and to all my colleagues from Garden Route District Municipality. Today we are here to officially open the doors of our new regional fire station. I say ours because it belongs to all of us in the district municipality. This is a collective achievement for every single municipality in the Garden Route District area, and I am honored to be part of this opening. When George Municipality took the decision to allocate this land to our colleagues at Garden Route for this fire station, we did so knowing full well that there's a need for such a facility. We did so to ensure that services are effective and that we are responsive to the needs of our community. We did so with the knowledge that we acquired from the atrocities that we experienced nearly 7 years ago in this area. This year will mark the 7th anniversary of the devastating fires of Knysna and George. We will never forget those who lost their lives, families, and homes when disaster struck. But we made a commitment to our residents that we will strive to do all we can in the face of disaster. And with facilities such as this one, we will deliver on our commitments to our residents. Not only will we be ready, but we will be fully equipped to deal with these disasters should they occur. This is an investment in public safety and forms part of our commitment that any government should make and uphold to its citizens. It is an investment in the well-being of our families, our homes, and our businesses. It is an investment in the future, and these investments are able to reach way beyond just today. My prayers go out to everyone in the Overberg and Cape Winelands District Municipality as they are fighting fires of their own at this moment. Allow me to thank everyone and every role player who made this possible. Thank you to the Executive Mayor, Memory Boysen, and the political leadership of Garden Route Municipality, as well as the administrative leadership under the guidance of MM Strato. It is an honor to have this facility situated in George Municipality as the center of the Garden Route. Minister, it was an easy decision for our council to make. This one went through with no debate. To the employees, our firemen and women, we salute you for your incredible work. On behalf of the George community, I want to express our deepest gratitude to everyone who made this fire station possible. Today we celebrate the delivery of services to our residents and our commitment to ensuring public safety. Once again, congratulations Garden Route, and thank you for this achievement. Thank you.
Baie dankie, Deputy. And now next up will be our own Executive Mayor, Alderman Memory Boyson. He's going to tell us more about commitment to service delivery and the importance of an established regional fire station. Thank you, Memory. Hoekom het die ander mense nie sulke applaus gekry nie? Maar nou toe Memory Boyson opstap toe raas julle.
There's a reason why there's a red carpet. And I noticed, I know guys, it's not in our personalities, you know, for us to be treated like royalty. It is not in our DNA, but this is it. This is the day which the Lord have made. And I don't know whether you folks have noticed, you know, I had to move in front, and this is a very hot day which the Lord have made. My chain almost melted, and I left the guys who are still there. If you look at them, all of them can afford a 10. I can't. Now, Program Director, please allow me to acknowledge Minister Anton Burdell. There's also a book titled The Chain Gang. I see all the guys who wear chains are here, and some of the guys who left their chains in their offices. I acknowledge all the mayors, the deputy mayors, the councillors, mayoral committee members. I acknowledge you folks. I acknowledge the men and women in uniform, those who are here today. I'm also aware that there are others who are not here today. They are fighting fires. They are doing what they've been called for. I acknowledge the firefighters, the firewomen, everybody who spoke before me, one way or another, they are linked to fires. Some are firefighters, some are former firefighters. In Afrikaans, there's another term, ek is 'n vuurvreter. I also acknowledge the officials who are here. Everybody who's here is an acknowledgement of the work that you folks have put in. Some of you might not get the recognition, but the mere fact that we are all here is an indication that this is for the benefit of the Garden Route. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you put egos aside, this is what you get. When you put personalities aside, this is what you get. When you put aside the argument of powers and functions, this is what you get. We put everything aside for one purpose, and that purpose was for this facility to be erected, and here we are today. I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that this is an indication of when different spheres of government come together, when different categories of municipalities come together. You get B's, you get C's, you get A's, you get province, and this facility is proof of when all those spheres came together. We sit for hours and hours, and we came to one conclusion. And that conclusion was what would benefit the people of the Garden Route. And here we are today. And I'd like us to give all the role players an applause for this facility. Now, to the men and women there in uniform, you'll recall in 2016, when I was elected the mayor of Garden Route, I think it was probably Eden back then, my first meeting, Program Director, my first interdepartmental meeting was with those men and women sitting over there. I had my first meeting with the firefighters. And Program Director, you alluded to Emil as your favorite firefighter. Emil is not just a firefighter, he's a champion, But he's not just a champion in his own doing, he's a champion because of that whole team sitting there. You guys are our lifesavers. You guys are our favorites. You guys are the ones, when the pawpaw hits the fan, we run away. You run towards the fan. You run towards danger. When danger struck, we acknowledge you folks. We acknowledge you folks. And I want to say to everybody up here, this is just the beginning of collaboration between different spheres of government. This is just the beginning. And for the media out there, watch the space. We will show the rest of South Africa how it is done when different spheres come together. There are 2 more projects in the pipeline of this nature where you would need all the municipalities in the district to work together. And it is not because we wanted to be smart to call this the Garden Route District Municipality Regional Fire Station. It was by choice, and it was a deliberate decision. And all the speakers referred to the fact that this is not Garden Route's facility. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look over there, this facility belongs to all of those municipalities that are written down there on that banner. This facility belongs to 8 municipalities in total. This facility is here to protect the entire Garden Route. All the Garden Routers, when the sirens will go off, this will be the first point of response. Ladies and gentlemen, it really gives me pleasure to stand here today. It doesn't matter who's going to cut the ribbon here today, ladies and gentlemen, but somebody has to do it. And whoever will be doing this today, we will be doing this on behalf of everybody in the Garden Route. And this is also an indication that when we work together as a government, we know no boundaries. That is why George Municipality, Mossel Bay, Garden Route, the other municipalities in the district are all somewhere, either in the Winelands or either in Overberg. That is an indication on how we work together, how we work as a team. So ladies and gentlemen, Program Director, I will never forget this day. Thank you very much.
Dankie Meyer. It's always very nice to listen to you. You are always very excited and charismatic, and I think today is one of those days that you can be excited. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to put your hands together for our Minister, Provincial Minister, the Western Cape of Environmental Affairs and Development Planning, none other than Mr. Anton Bredel. He will do the keynote address for us. Welcome, Minister.
Thank you, Speaker, and to the Mayor. You praat nogal lekker vir 'n ou wat in skadu gesit het. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. What a privilege, what an honor to be part of this occasion today. To my Deputy Provincial Director, the Fire and Rescue Services, Etienne de Tooy, and the Deputy Director, Provincial Fire Rescue Services, Amanda Willett, and ek sien nog 'n paar bekende gesigte hier. Baie dankie, because they my favorite. That's the favorite part of my work, is disaster management. I've got huge respect for the professionals within the sector, doing their utmost best to build the disaster center in this province to a world-class facility. The facility where we can brag with and through which we can protect our citizens. This is a program, it started in 2009. Now you must understand that I'm very late on the program, so by this time everything has been said. So my speech means nothing now, so I must now divert. So I think it also gives me the opportunity to touch on a couple of important aspects that was mentioned here today. We're building a new South Africa. We're building a South Africa brick by brick for all. And we can only do it to build facilities like this and through working together. So to the listeners, this is your facility. One of the big issues we struggle currently is vandalism of infrastructure. If you vandalize infrastructure, you vandalize your children's future. So take ownership, protect this facility, because we need to build another one and another one. Disaster management is hugely successful today because we started this program in 2009. Through Etienne and Colin and those people, building a system that's world class. And I think we can give Etienne and his whole team a nice hand of applause. Colleagues, and this facility doesn't happen overnight. As you've heard, we struggle with fires. We run around in the Western Cape, in Cape Winelands. Just to give you an extent of the fires, I mean, the Kleutjieskraal fire stretches over an area of covering now around about 27,000 hectares. The fire line yesterday was 36 kilometers at stage in mountainous areas, very difficult terrain, very dangerous for our firefighters, men and women. There was another one in Bainskloof, stretches over 3,500 hectares. Then there was another one to Worcester site that stretches over 2,700 hectares. And then you have the Cape Agulhas one, that's around about 8,000 hectares. You've got the Buffeljas fire, and then the Pringlebuys fire, that was heading towards destruction of property. We had to evacuate people, and Etienne and the teams, Overstrand teams, but actually everybody joining in, sending people to go and help, because in Pringle Bay we thought we had it under control, and then yesterday afternoon we were hit by a huge wind, and immediately City of Cape Town, Stellenbosch, Swartland, George, Moss, everybody sending resources, and that's through collaboration, through signing a memorandum of understanding and helping one another. And it's actually funny because just in December, one night, Colin Diner, the head of the disaster management, phoned me and said, "Minister, I need your help. City of Cape Town is in big trouble." And with one phone call to each of West Coast, Cape Winelands and Overberg districts, at 10:15 in the night, 11 o'clock, their trucks were on their way to City of Cape Town to go and help. And that's the spirit in which we work. So congratulations. Let's keep on building. Let's keep on working together. Now, these things, I stand here to tell you, colleagues, what you probably know. Climate change is problematic. It's going to be a big issue for all of us in the administration, in government, to deal with going forward. And climate change is one of those things that everybody understands is going to be a problem. But comes to budget time, then we push it aside. When there's a fire, the other night, I was with colleagues on a phone call because weather services gave out an alert that there's going to be a flood that evening. Said to me, "It's too late. We cannot train people to swim now. You must invest in disaster management over years and build the system because you're going to need the system going forward." And I will keep on fighting for our disaster management, because if you look at the risk profile of this province, it's not only fires and floods that going that we need to deal with going forward. If I look at my right now, I see this hazmat, I get excited because I had this conversation with Etienne and the team, and I said to him, "Listen, we cannot have one hazmat unit in this province. If you're out on the road, petroleum trucks, chemical trucks, those are all potential risk. And we need to give the necessary training to our firemen and women to become specialists, because you've seen what has happened in Joburg when a fuel tanker goes up. We don't want to lose lives. And I'm very grateful as I stand in front of you that although we had a very, very busy fire season, we haven't lost a life yet. And may we keep it that way. The money you've touched on, you've talked to the money, but maybe just to be a bit specific also on a 4.5 million rand allocation to the district, mayor and municipal manager, to procure a 4x4 vehicle. We made 981,000 rand available to the district to procure equipment for the hazardous material mobile trailer, 500,000 rand. Procurement of flood rescue equipment, 2.5 million rand. And then the smoke alarms, we made available 500,000 rand And we need to, and if there's colleagues listening and there's people who wants to sponsor smoke alarms, please contact the municipality. We've got joint ventures in City of Cape Town. A smoke alarm now costs around about 80 and 200 rand. It will keep that people safe for the next 10 years. When we put in smoke alarms, people die of smoke inhalation, and when we put in smoke alarms, we save lives. So please, if you want to contribute, let's roll it out over this whole district. Coming Monday, I will need to go back to a budget council because of the economy of the country and the world. Currently, we struggle with budgets. By mid-December, we've spent our disaster 16 million rand budget for this fire season. We shifted 3 million rand, that's gone. So Monday, I'm going back and I'm going to fight for, and I know the Premier is on my side, the Minister of Finance is on my side, because we can never let money stand in the way of the lives of our people, to protect them and to protect their property. So come Monday, we will make funds available for the rest of the season. Let's hope it's going to be a quiet season, but you never know, and you need to be prepared. And I cannot let the disaster management take out the calculator every time they must pick up a call to send aerial support or ground teams to a fire. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end off with this. The heart and soul of this building, this is just a building. The heart and soul is mostly that side of the audience. The brave firemen and firewomen. You bring passion, love, competence to this facility. You bring it to your communities. And on behalf of the provincial government, I want to thank all of you. You save lives throughout the year. During the winter season, the September floods, the June floods. If we call on you, you're always there. And on behalf of the provincial government, on behalf of the Premier, I want to thank you for your dedication and commitment. Let's keep on, and from the provincial side, I also want to commit that I will keep on fighting for the right budgets so that we can train you, give you the rightful training and rightful equipment to do your jobs. Take up that opportunities. There's a lot of specialists amongst you, but become a specialist in the different sectors, because we're going to need specialists to deal with the consequences of climate change going forward. Again, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me, and the residents of the Garden Route can be very proud of this facility. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anton Bradel. We're nearly at the end of our program. The next item is sliding the fireman's pole. Let's go. Are we ready for this? Fire Chief? I believe. Die ketting moet maar nou afgehaal word, want iemand gaan nou vir ons 'n demonstrasie lewer. Meyer, jy moet my jou ketting afhaal. Hier's baie Meyers, maar die Meyer weet na wie ek verwys. Dankie Meyer Boysen, you must take off your ketting and your baadjie. I'm going to hand over to our fire chief, Mr. Stoffels. And he is going to explain to us what is going to happen next. Ek is so bly dis die ekkie. Die koei het seker maar op hom geval. So Dion, asseblief verduidelik vir ons wat nou gaan gebeur.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. All protocol observed. Thank you, Minister. I must say that the Executive Mayor did not object to the program. And I can also say that the Executive Mayor did not have training. So please bear with him. It is very simple, Mayor. Up the stairs, a gate will be open. We will have 2 firefighters there. Mr. Leslie has the biggest arms. Please go up. And then, Mayor, it's very simple. Just grab the pole and slide in a circular way down. You will have a safe landing, I promise. Thank you.
I think we can come forward. Or can you see the Mayor from where you are sitting? Meyer, you can not object. Ek is baie jammer, but if you want to object, then I'm not going to give you the mic. It's unfortunate that our listeners won't be seeing what's going to happen now. But the mayor of the Garden Route, Alderman Memory Boyson, is going to do a sliding of the fireman's pole. And after the mayor, I think if there's another councillor who wants to volunteer, we will take that also. De deputy mayor, George, daar is 'n uitdaging vir u. Maya, are you ready? Maya Boyson, are you ready? I think we must calm down for the mayor. Is daar 'n maatjie vir 'n soft landing? Maya, can we calm down for you? One. There's a nice demonstration, Maya. From a trained fireman, Maya, you must keep in mind that person was trained. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Who's going to be next? There's still one volunteer. Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Goopy. Thank you, Councillor Goopy. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Simon is a trick. I said trick. Polish answer that one.
Right, guys, now we know how it feels.
Thank you very much for that nice entertainment. I think we must give the mayor and Councillor Gupti. MEC, I thought you were also going to do it.
Emem, ek dink Emem gaan ook. Emem. I thought you was also going to do it.
Thank you, Maya. You are always a very good sport. I will now call on, if everybody is seated, the excitement is over. I will call on our Alderman Gert van Niekerk, Garden Route's Deputy Executive Mayor, to come and do the closing remarks and a vote of thanks for us. And straight after that, we will we'll be having a tour through and around the station, and we will be led in that by our Fire Chief, Mr. Stoffels. Thank you, Deputy.
Thank you, Program Director. Colleagues, what a wonderful day. It's indeed a privilege to be here. Now let me start off with the Minister of Local Government, Environmental Affairs, Development and Planning, Minister Anton Brodel. So how nice to see you here. Our executive mayors, not only Mayor Boyson, but also from our neighboring municipalities. Heartily welcome here. It's a pleasure to have you here. Same with our deputy mayors, elder ladies, aldermen, councillors, not only from the Garden Route District Municipality, but also from our neighboring municipalities. Thank you very much for your support here. Then our directors, deputy directors, firefighters, visitors from all over, and staff members, all protocol observed. In this vote of thanks, we naturally have a whole host of individuals and entities we would like to thank, which make this special project possible, as well as making this special day possible. Firstly, the last two Garden Route District Councils, led by our political head, Executive Mayor Alderman Memory Boyson, and also driven by the administrative head, Municipal Manager Mondi Stratu, for the absolute steadfast intent and motivation for approval of the budget to build the district's fire service and their firefighters their own and modern fire station. Their own home, as it were. Indeed, a legacy project for each firefighter and the municipality at large. And this morning we can say to our men in black, welcome home. Secondly, the supply chain management section and the relevant committees for ensuring due diligence in appointment processes, ensuring that the suitable and credible service providers are sourced. Our legal section for the role they played in the consolidation deeds registry with the Surveyor General for our allocated land from the George Municipality. Indeed, of course, also the George Municipality for availing this land. We cannot overemphasize our gratitude for this major boost to make a success of this project. The provincial government, Minister Bradell, Minister, without you, it wouldn't happen. Particularly also Mr. Etienne de Toy, Colin Diner, for doing the necessary motivation and process upon our request to assist with funding, which you've heard runs into millions of rands. This list continues. The project implementation team, Candin Templar as principal agent. And then we've got Kubeka Construction for showcasing absolute professional services in ensuring the project completion remain in line with schedules, despite challenges, as we've heard, of the good rains we received in 2023. Well done to you all. Naturally, a big thank to you, the creditor section, who facilitate the necessary payments to ensure the project runs as smooth as the outcome we all face here today. The IT section and auxiliary section, ensuring our communication and the relevant networks are installed and up and running. The OHS section, Louisa Soto for your assistance in fire equipment. Then also Nikki de Toy for providing coverage of this event here today. Lekker Nikki. Also, all members of the media present here today, we are grateful for your attendance and thank you for your support. Lastly, in the build-up to this day, all the men and women sitting here wearing black, for all in approach the last number of weeks with spray painting, containers, beds, lockers, planting trees, flower arrangements for this event. Charlita Rondganger, Erland Paulse, the Chief of Staff in his absence, Mr. Simpiwe Dladla, the communication section, Herman and Marlene, your stars, in giving glance to this event on our social media platforms and assistance with other arrangements throughout. Tippy Bauer and Gail Bakia for movement of storage containers, the maintenance section for transporting minor items, as well as the working on fire personnel for assisting with relocation. Then the smaller donations, compost by Grow Green, plants and trees by our Taniqua Palms, and Savannah helicopters for your small contribution toward our refreshments of today. In conclusion, every official of the Garden Route District Municipality sitting here, certainly you had a contribution somewhere along the course of this project. We thank you. You can be proud of what stands in front of you. Once more, our Mayor and Municipal Manager, for your big drive the last number of years to ensure the outcome and your continued support to the fire services. It is greatly appreciated. And of course, our big brother, the Provincial Department, for your continued support to the District Municipality. As we've heard here today, combined with George Municipality, this is what can be achieved if we stand together and we're not divided. Lastly, all attendees here today, integrated fire management partners and all, thank you for your attendance and making the day special, and in particular also Pastor Keith Elliott for availing your time for your crucial spiritual support. I say thank you to each and everyone. Baie dankie en kosi. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy. Before we go on the tour, can I just call on all the deputy mayors and the mayors, councillors, Minister Bradell. We're going to do the official cutting of the ribbon.